Just like any other, our protagonist regressed, and time traveled back in time, making him tensely wake up in shock. Where am I? He wondered. His name, Liu Chongsheng, a transmigrator, third-year archaeology student in his previous life. He who woke up at the audience seat of the mythological arena, and breaking his thoughts was Zhou Hao, Liu Chongsheng's childhood friend. Hey Chongsheng, stop daydreaming. Let's get in line quickly. Today is the once-in-a-decade Divine Awakening Day. Still dazed, he wondered. Divine Awakening Day. Long story short, 100 years ago, the mythological arena descended upon the continent. Gods from various nations were resurrected. Once a human turns 16, they can use the Divine Awakening Stone to summon a god. Those who successfully summon a god gain divine power, and represent their country in battles in the mythological arena. An illustration of how someone was attempting at summoning a god was shown, but Ma Dude seemed to call out the wrong name. As if one summons the wrong name, there's only one outcome, and that is death. Chinese civilization has suffered a fracture, with much of its historical and mythological records buried in dust. Countless Chinese sages sacrificed their flesh and blood for a century apiece, but the next generation struggle to remember their names. Suddenly upon the stage the dashing city lord appeared, who began the Divine Awakening ceremony. Looking at the buzzing atmosphere, our boy thought to himself with a smile, if the summoning fails, you turn to dust. This world is truly dangerous. As it began, a confident figure of a white-haired female slowly stepped forward, making the crowd cheer in praise. Look, it's Liu Yanran, ranked first in the national exams. Her full figure was then shown in all its glory. Liu Yanran, daughter of the top swordsman Liu Rufeng. Ma Dude's friend, seeing her, also commented with her background. She's bound to summon a powerful god. So envious. I'm so envious. She's from a good family, has excellent skills, and is a true wealthy beauty. If someone could win her over, they'd skip 10 years of hard work. Not hearing a response, he still continued. It's a shame that this morning Huaxia was on the brink of losing in the mythological arena. I really hope Liu Yanran can awaken a powerful god, and fight for our country. I don't want to lose to Sakura Nation. He commented with spite in his words. However, it seemed our boy agreed with him on that one, as he responded, neither do I. As they called forth Liu Yanran once more, she boldly stepped forward to begin her awakening. Desperate, they placed their hopes on her, hoping she awakens a high-tier god to save Huaxia. For that to happen, she needed to place her hand upon a clear crystal, which suddenly lit up brightly, creating a commotion as it seemed that theirs was a phenomenon occurring. It must be a high-tier goo, shouted the city lord. And as if on cue, multiple god souls appeared, which suddenly caught our boy's attention. These images of gods, they are exactly the same as the gods from my previous life, he thought. Not wasting any time, she immediately chose her god, as she began her chant. The name of the god of death will be passed down. Attack the nations and never surrender. The battle of red stained the hills with blood. His heart shone through the sky. I, Liu Yanran, humbly request the presence of the god of war, Bai Qi. Surprised, Ma Dude wondered out loud. Bai Qi. What does he have to do with the Battle of Red Cliffs? Wasn't he part of the Battle of Chongping? A warlord from the Qin dynasty, and a battle from the late Eastern Han period. They're hundreds of years apart. They have nothing to do with each other. Hearing that, his friend panicked. Are you crazy? How dare you question the top scorer of the national exams? Liu Yanran comes from a scholarly swordsman family. Dude, you. However, it seemed too late, as it seemed he had triggered the crowd. What an ignorant student from a small place. You, fit to judge the top scorer, the daughter of a sword immortal. What's this nonsense about the Battle of Chongping? Did you make up history? However, another answered him. According to historical records, the most famous battle is the Battle of Red Cliffs. Listening to their bickering, he sneered. How pathetic, then thought to himself. It seems that modern civilization has completely collapsed. People have already forgotten their history. Somehow satisfied, the city lord exclaimed. Compatibility rate, 40%. Liu Yanran has awakened an S-rank god, the god of war, Bai Qi. Hearing that, the crowd cheered. As expected from the daughter of a sword immortal, she activated an S-rank god, the top scorer, indeed. Haha, who was it that just said Bai Qi was from the Battle of Chongping? A mere clown. The city lord then spoke to the old man next to him. She has a bright future ahead of her, but unfortunately, it will still take time for her to grow. In the upcoming mythological battles, we'll have to wait for sword immortal Liu to return from the frontier, replied the old man. However, looking at her, exuding more aura as if wanting to do something, he wondered to himself. What is she trying to do? Could she be attempting to summon another unknown god? And indeed she did, as in front of her was the soul of an emperor. However, everyone looked down on the human god, saying they are rare and weak, and emperor gods are even more unheard of. as they then began their speculations. Such courage! It must be Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty. Only Emperor Taizong, who conquered the world at a young age, could be venerated as a legendary emperor throughout history. Unfortunately, the records of emperors in history are few and far between. And hearing that, our boy thought to himself, no, that's wrong. In the Sui and Tang periods, emperor garments were primarily yellow. In no dynasty did emperors ever wear black. Could it be? However, suddenly a stern voice echoed, hold on, this is the first time an emperor god has appeared in the mythological arena in 100 years. According to historical records, there have been countless emperors in Chinese millennia-long history. To choose recklessly would be dangerous. His title, head of Tiangxuan Academy, one of the 4 great academies of Huaxia, Li Xuan. TL Huaxia is also referred to as China. Hearing that, the city lord also doubled down. Yes, Yanren, give up. You are the future of Huaxia, and you cannot afford to fail. And looking up at the god soul, she sadly replied, but if I walk away, this top-tier god will vanish from this world. However, Mr. Know-It-All continued with negativity. Even so, we cannot risk our future top-tier fighting force. Then instructed his assistants, notify Tiangxuan Academy. We will use 10 years of the nation's fortune to anchor the emperor's soul. Let's see if one of the students coming for the divine awakening can recognize it. I follow the master's orders. As soon as he left, the head of the academy announced, students, a top-tier god has appeared in Huaxia, possibly Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty. As you all know, a top-tier god is critical to Huaxia's survival at this moment, as they have been suffering a devastating loss, experiencing bitter defeats back-to-back, and the nation that always trampled on them was the Sakura nation. Huaxia has already lost 2 rounds of the godly war, 1 more loss, and will have to cede territory and make reparations. Without a top-tier god, relying solely on the sword immortal leaves us with little hope. I understand that Huaxia's cultural fracture makes identifying the gods based on current data extremely risky. Perhaps we will die today. Who else dares to step forward and try? Hearing that, the crowd hesitated. This unknown emperor god might not be Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty. If I summon the wrong name, I will die. However, someone bold enough spoke out first. In Huaxia, we do not fear death. The Kyoto Academy will not fail, and I am willing to try. The Magic Capital Academy, Chunyu, is also willing to try. Hearing that, they all got riled up. I will also try. I'm in too. Count me in. However, suddenly our boy raised his hand. I know the origin of this god, and it's different from the dean's judgment, he shouted. Lu Chongsheng of Jinling Academy, I am willing to try. Who is this guy? They wondered, isn't he the clown who questioned Liu Yanren earlier? Jinling Academy ranked pretty low in this year's exams. Is he trying to show off, risking his life in the process? His friend as always was just fearful as ever as he shouted, Chongsheng, are you kidding me? You know summoning the wrong name will lead to death, right? However, our boy ignored him as he continued trending forward, making the dean think to himself, this kid seems confident. Does he really know the history of this emperor? But after reviewing all the records, the only emperor that fits the characteristics is Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty. However, he then voiced out his thoughts. I believe in this student. Since you're so confident, I'll allow you to try. And that made the city lord a bit hesitant. However, the dean doubled down. We must never stand in the way of a Huaxia citizen's pure heart. Turns out the spectacle was witnessed by all nations. As the scene shifted to the Sakura nation audience seats, who mocked the others as always. Look, an unknown god has appeared in Huaxia. They're actually fighting to the death over it. Truly, Huaxia people are fearless in their ignorance. How can a culturally impoverished country like theirs compare to the great Sakura nation? Go ahead, monkey, ha ha ha. However, as soon as our boy touched the crystal, it shone with a bright red color, signaling a rare event as red lightning struck, making everyone shocked. What's going on? Has he activated an unknown high-tier goo? It's emanating a red phenomenon. Now the Sakura nation was becoming wary as they wondered, isn't the highest godly aura supposed to be orange? The strongest god in Huaxia's history should only have a purple aura. The nation of India was also present, as they had their own thoughts. I've heard only our nation and Greece have ever produced gods with orange auras. The nation of Korea also commented, what's with this red aura? Does Huaxia even deserve it? Did the divine awakening stone malfunction? Looking at the spectacle before them, the dean uttered in surprise, this is the aura of an SSS tier god. As he then continued his explanation, the current godly aura levels are white, green, blue, purple, and orange. However, few know that above orange lies red. Currently, the only god in the world with a red aura resides in the Vatican, and he is known as God. Does Huaxia really have an SSS tier god in its history? Wondered the city lord. SSS tier is the limit for gods, but it's not his limit. Even if other gods are SSS tier, they cannot compare to him. The beautiful Liu Yanran also thought to herself. An SSS tier god. Can he be successfully summoned? Lu Chongsheng, his exam scores weren't ideal. Shifting to the city lord, he asked the dean, but aside from the emperor god, he's also activated another unknown SSS tier god. What kind of god is this? Pulling out his measly knowledge, he speculated. He wields a giant axe, standing tall and mighty. His muscles are bulging, his face rugged, and his strength is unmatched. Could he be the ancient god Xing Tan? Frowning at his ignorance, our boy corrected him in his thoughts again. Xing Tan was headless, using his chest as eyes, his belly as a mouth, wielding an axe and shield in battle. But this god has both head and limbs. How could he be Xing Tan? The myths of Huaxia have faded away for far too long. Way too long. Perhaps this is the very reason I came to this world. As always, to manifest the god's soul, he sang his praises. In the beginning, Pangu created the heavens and earth, and with his mighty power, though his body perished, his spirit remains, nourishing the land and the people. He established the universe. Bowing with respect, he continued, I humbly request the presence of the first god of creation, Pangu. Hearing that, it was as if the other nations were fed dirty water, as they exclaimed in shock, Creator God, the Creator God. But the people of Huaxia were overjoyed as they voiced their thoughts. Truly, one cannot judge a person by their appearance. I never thought he could awaken an SSS level god. How does he know the identity of this Creator God? Looking at the majestic figure of the Creator God, our boy thought to himself. Pangu opened the heavens and the earth, his body transforming into all things. He is absolutely the most supreme god in existence. After successfully summoning him, a status window appeared. Ding. Character: Lu Chongsheng. Compatibility: 1%. Main god: Pangu. A system panel. It has finally arrived. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the Huaxia Temple of Gods, as a kid was shocked by the phenomenon that appeared. What? As in front of him was images of all the gods summoned in Huaxia, and above all of them was the Creator God Pangu, leader of the gods. Unbelievable, he exclaimed. It seems we must sound the fate bell, and announce it to the world. And appearing before the fate bell, he raised the hammer to swing at the hammer, and upon impact, it released golden sound waves that shot out to the whole entire Huaxia nation, as if signaling a new beginning. Did I miss her? Soared immortal Liu Qing. You did not miss her. It was indeed 9 rings. Shifting to the ceremony, the dean was also overjoyed in hearing the 9 rings. 9 rings of the fate bell. 9 is the ultimate number, never before seen. He has indeed activated a supreme god. Heaven bless Huaxia. We now have a supreme god too. An SSS level god. The strongest god in Huaxia's history. Only triggered the fate bell 3 times, thought Liu Yanran. Of course not everyone was happy about the news, especially the Sakura nation. Damn it. A mere boy from Huaxia has awakened a supreme god. Emperor Tokugawa. Lord Matsumoto, are you confident in dealing with him? He asked the person next to him, and the guy with snakes around the body responded with a mocking tone. A new god-blessed individual, even though he has awakened a supreme god, with his current compatibility, it would be difficult to summon it in the arena. With my current strength, I can easily tear him apart, and his god too, this Huaxia prodigy. We must kill him before he grows any stronger. Making a decision, the emperor of the Sakura nation instructed, spread the word, and initiate the named god war. We cannot allow him to continue living. Shifting to our, who was now feeling the power surging throughout his body. An SSS level god is the pinnacle of most gods, but it is certainly not the limit of Pangu. Pangu opened the heavens, his body transformed into all things, his soul became a sage. His battle strength is the supreme. Unfortunately, with my current compatibility. But before he could finish his thoughts, the ground beneath him shook and collapsed, leaving him surprised. Then an announcement was made throughout the nations. Sakura nation consumes 10 years of national fortune, initiating a named god war against Huaxia's Lu Chongsheng. All contestants, prepare to take the stage for battle in 10 minutes. In the next second, his body was transported to a dimensional space for battle. Named God War. The locked space has been transported to a different dimension. Outside was the city lord and the dean, who were shocked at what was happening. Lu Chongsheng has become a projection. There's no turning back now. Has he already been transported to the inner realm? Damn it. Such insidious tactics. However, the Sakura Nation audience section was buzzing with joy. Ha ha ha. They are angry. They're panicking. Just a moment ago they were worried. The one responsible for it was there, thinking to himself. The named God War serves 2 purposes. Not only does it guarantee victory in the mythical arena, but it also removes Huaxia's young god-blessed genius before he can grow. After all, Huaxia's sword immortal is no easy foe. The dude was even imagining our boy sprawled on the floor defeated. As for the consumed national fortune, Haha, shifting to the sword immortal. He was also confused a notification of a national fortune war. What is going on? His assistant then replied. Sakura Nation consumed 10 years of national fortune to prematurely initiate the mythical arena. They intend to eliminate Huaxia's prodigy early. As she then continued, the named God War can only target God-blessed individuals with an SSS level or higher. Once initiated, the locked individual must take the stage no matter how high he may fly in the future. Right now, he is nothing more than a fledgling bird. In this way, the opponent can strategically arrange their forces. This is the first time the named God War has appeared in the mythical arena. Sakura Nation is using it to target Huaxia's newly awakened God-blessed individual. Hearing all that, the sword immortal was also infuriated as he bellowed in anger, if our Huaxia genius falls in this battle, on this day next year, I will trample Zijing. A few minutes later, the participants met at the battling arena, as the snake guy was already waiting for our boy. Humph. They've initiated a named God War over this wet behind the ears child. They're making a mountain out of a molehill. A wet behind the ears child. You better watch out. Even if Huaxia's sword immortal were here, I could still easily tear him apart. However, our boy Liu Changshan was busy with his own thoughts, as he speculated. Pangyu should be impossible to summon. The imperial god that was just fixed with fortune should reappear in the mythical arena. Stepping closer, the snake dude continued. What's the matter? Don't you even have the courage to face me? However, looking at our boy's calm demeanor, he was stunned for a bit. How? But our boy then mocked him. Your snake head would make a great stew. Hey, you're sharp-tongued. In a moment, I will personally sever your head, and feed it to my god. Out of nowhere, the host god Aphrodite appeared, announcing the beginning of the battle. Both contestants are now in place. The mythical arena battle begins. Welcome everyone to the mythical arena battle. This battle will be broadcast globally. The participating nations are Huaxia and Sakura Nation. This is the third match of the arena battle, and currently, Sakura Nation has won 2 matches. If they win one more, Huaxia will be forced to surrender half its population and half its national fortune to Sakura Nation. Hello. I am the host of the mythical arena, Aphrodite. The system then showed the rules. Mythical arena rules. Rule 1. In each battle, 5 gods will be randomly refreshed. Contestants may summon one of them. Rule 2. Once a god has been summoned, it cannot appear again in subsequent battles. Rule 3. The match follows a best-of-5 format. Only the victor survives, while the loser's god perishes. Confirming the rules, Chan Sheng thought to himself. Victory means life, defeat means death. This is perfect. Hundreds of God-blessed individuals have already died at the hands of Roki. Today, I will settle both personal and national scores. Speaking his thoughts, he pointed at the snake dude. Today, we will decide not only victory and defeat, but also life and death. But this video ends here. Be sure to stay tuned for more. Until next time.